Once upon a time, there was a king in a distant savannah whom all the animals loved and respected. In fact, he was a wanderer who lost his parents at a young age and grew up in distant and unfamiliar lands. Mufasa became king, just and worthy, chosen and loved by all the animals. One day, he began to pass on his wisdom to his son Simba. Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance. As a king, you must understand this balance and respect all creatures, from the crawling ant to the leaping antelope. Mufasa shows Simba how a king is responsible for maintaining harmony among all living things in the circle of life. The little one thinks that since he has strength, he can do whatever he wants to those weaker than him. But everything is connected, and whatever you do today will come back around and affect everyone, including yourself. He tells him that lions eat the antelope, but after their death, they themselves will become part of the grass that the antelope will eat. So nothing is ever lost, it just transforms. We often forget that we are part of a system that deeply connects everyone with everyone else, and every single one of our actions truly matters a lot. Balance is not just a goal, but a way of life. If there were no balance, there would be no life. And often the events that seem out of harmony to us are exactly the ones needed to preserve or restore harmony. Mufasa reminds us that when we learn to respect even the smallest forms of life, we discover our own place in the puzzle of life more clearly. While others look for what they can take, a true king looks for what he can give. Mufasa thinks that when he becomes king, the most important thing is that he will be strong, important, everyone will bow to him, and he will do whatever he wants. And maybe, like many of us, people imagine success as the moment when you can do whatever you want. But having power and skills makes you responsible, because the things you do for everyone, well, they include you too. Mufasa, as a beloved and great king, taught Simba that if others trust you to lead them, it is necessary for you to constantly look for ways to give and to improve things. Nowadays, it seems like we don't understand that we are responsible for our whole world, as if we prefer to carry other people's burdens instead of taking on our own. Realizing that only then can we make a change, only then can we honor the trust others have placed in our own talent. We are responsible for seeking what we can give of ourselves at every moment. Then we become the kings of our own destiny. Then, when we realize that freedom is the most wonderful thing we can have as a state of being. But it also comes with taking responsibility, the kind that makes us the ones who decide, choose, and clearly define the desires we choose to explore. I am brave when there is a need for it. Courage does not mean looking for trouble. One day, the little lion cub Simba decides to go into the forbidden lands to see what's there. At that moment, he thinks that jumping into the shadows is an act of courage. However, his father barely saves him from terrible danger. If you remember the situation with the hyenas, their lands are already outside the kingdom now. And then, just when he's about to be in the biggest trouble, Simba's father appears, fights the hyenas, and saves his skin. But literally right after that, he gives him a very valuable lesson. He teaches him that courage is not overconfidence, but the willingness to act when others need you, when it is necessary to do so. Even if you're afraid, courage doesn't mean not being afraid. On the contrary, it's the strength to face your fear, to accept it, to overcome it. Exactly then, when it is most necessary. How do you know when that is? Well, when that moment comes, we all feel it. It's scary. It's really scary, but that's only at the beginning. Being brave is a way of existing, a way of life. Mufasa teaches us to be brave not for ourselves, but for those who rely on us. And even though sometimes fear will try to paralyze us, we can act with our hearts, with our true selves. Simba, you have forgotten me, you have forgotten who you are, and therefore you have forgotten me as well. Look inside yourself, Simba. Remember who you are. You are more than what you have become. After the death of Mufasa, Simba is led by his uncle Scar to believe that he is responsible for his father's demise. Scar convinces him to run away from the pride. The young lion leaves his home and spends years in exile, living carefree with Timon and Pumbaa, far from the responsibilities of the kingdom. During this time, the pride falls victim to Scar's poor leadership, and the savannah, deprived of balance, begins to wither. Nala, Simba's childhood friend, has to find him and urge him to return and take his role as king. Despite her plea, Simba feels insecure and afraid. He still believes that he is to blame for his father's death. He didn't do what he should have, didn't think, and wasn't there. And while he wanders in thought, Rafiki the wise monkey finds him and shows him that he can connect with his father because his father lives inside him. This connection changes Simba's choice, but also reminds each of us that we always have a connection. As long as we are ready to allow it, to wish for it, and to feel what is meant for us as a message in that moment, we can receive guidance and messages from people, animals, and entities. Mufasa's words show that if you have forgotten who you are, if you have forgotten your strength, you have also forgotten your connection with all those who are there and could help you. And we never lose that connection, we never lose our essence, we never lose our potential. To lose means to find the way. The movie Mufasa tells the story of the great king who was not always that way as a little lion cub. He loses his parents while playing in the river, a flood comes, and the current carries him away to distant lands, leaving him alone and far from his parents. There he is found by Taka, the prince of the local pride, whose father, Obasi, is the king. Thus, Eshe finds Mufasa wet and tired and chooses to protect him so that he can stay as part of Mufasa's family. Who has the spirit of a warrior, just separated from his parents, quickly accepts the situation and chooses to move forward. He chooses to adapt to the new environment and to prove himself because deep inside he already feels and knows what he accepts. Thus, later known as Scar, he moves forward. In the same way, we can remember that living in constant sadness and self-blame over past events, no matter what they are, is unnecessary. This simply prevents us from moving forward on the path we have chosen. But let's think about it. This is our path, people. This is your path. Does it make sense to go back? Everything that has happened to us is happening, leads to the lessons we need to learn in order to complete that part of the puzzle of life that is meant for us, by us, for ourselves. And that's a profound truth. We choose how to react in every situation. And very often we will get lost. Very often we will get lost in the new choices and decisions we make, in the new possibilities that appear before us. But sometimes, know one thing, getting lost is the only way to find the path again. And this is a constant pursuit. Sometimes you are there, sometimes you are not, and somewhere in between, there we are, searching. But we shouldn't despair, because as long as we exist, as long as things happen to us, all of this that happens to us, whatever it is, whatever you are going through right now, be sure that you have the strength to handle it. The fact that you may not see the way right now, don't pay attention to it. Allow yourself to receive guidance in any form and things will start to happen. When Mufasa and Scar are already grown up, an invasion of foreign white lions comes. They are scary and big, ruthless, and they kill all the other lions so that only they can rule over everything. Mufasa, with his agility and a keen sense of approaching danger, manages to lead himself and his brother on a journey to distant lands. At Milele, a place with beautiful land, harmony, and many animals, they are chased by the white lions, and along the way they meet Sarabi, Mufasa's future mate and Simba's mother. Together they reach Milele, overcoming many challenges. The animals from the lands of Milele are threatened by outsiders. At this moment, Mufasa stands before the animals and declares, "I am Mufasa, a wanderer without a pride. And yet here I am standing before you. I know you are scared, but believe me, nothing will change if everyone only cares for their own tribe without worrying about the fate of others. There is no lion as big as an elephant, as strong as a buffalo, as fast as an antelope, or able to fly like a falcon. Every creature has its place in the circle of life. My breath is your breath, your struggle is my struggle. Unity means that if we are all connected, the misfortune of one is the misfortune of all. Although there is no misfortune, the good of all is good for one, and the good for one is good for all. That's how Mufasa becomes their leader. They accept him as their chief because he shows them something they hadn't truly seen before, someone truly deserving. He still doesn't seek power or glory, but understands that everyone is one and the same, and no one is above anyone else. No, please, lift your heads. No more kings. We are all one. Please, lift your heads. The greatest recognition is to be chosen without having to push yourself forward, but because others believe and know that you are a person who can be trusted. After accepting him as his brother, Mufasa swears an oath before his parents, Eshe and Obasi, to protect and support him on his path so that one day he can become king. However, Mufasa is truly worthy and overcomes the challenges for everyone. On the way to Milele, Sarabi, the female they meet on their journey, becomes Mufasa's wife because she sees all the beauty in him and loves him for who he is. Thus, hurt and consumed by envy, he betrays his brother just before they reach Milele. In doing so, he puts all the other animals in great danger. This is very well portrayed, and we can learn a very good lesson from Mufasa. When envy gets to you, when things don't go your way, when you don't want to accept the situation you're in at the moment, you usually start to twist things around. You bring in the energy of hatred, you bring in the energy of fear, you bring in the energy of revenge, and you are even ready to hurt your closest ones. All just so that someone will share your pain, so you can find someone who understands you, so you won't be as lonely as you seem. That's exactly what the future Scar does. And in this way, when we are affected as deeply as he is, we really don't realize what consequences we can cause for others. To what extent can this spread and affect a larger number of people? At that point, we're closed off in our own shell and only see our own pain. Well, yes, but we don't live alone. As long as I live, my brother will have a place in my kingdom, but I will not speak his name. After the battle and the victory of his foreign warriors, Mufasa becomes king and has the full right to kill or banish his brother forever. However, he chooses to forgive, to accept, to remain true to his promise to protect him. He forgives him, but at the same time declares his position that he will never again utter his name categorically. In this way, his brother becomes the Scar we all know. But what is the lesson? Forgiveness is not weakness, but the strength to accept what has been done and move on, without the need for revenge and without hatred, but with a clear stance and boundaries as a sign of true dignity and strength. How many of us are willing to forgive betrayal by a brother, sister, or loved one and move forward is shown in this story. In the way, are fairy tales really so magical, mystical, distant, and fantastic? Or is it just that we are not willing to act in this way? Think about it. The Lion King is a great story, like many others, from which we choose whether to look for the lessons or maybe just quickly pass by, or to leave within ourselves a key, a button, a reminder of what we have chosen to be. There are heroes who go beyond the boundaries of their own story. There are heroes who become symbols of wisdom and inspiration for both young and old, for generations to come. Mufasa is exactly such a hero. His life is filled with lessons that lead us to a deeper understanding of what leadership, forgiveness, courage, justice, and the power of unity truly mean. These lessons are not just words, they are guidelines that anyone, if they wish, can apply in their own life. How is this an individual task for everyone? It's like asking the question of how to live your life. It's your life, live it according to your own understanding. But don't violate the general principles, the collective ideas and directions that apply to everyone. Don't break the laws of the universe and those of love because, as it says in a wonderful book, love is the only reality. And finally, I will share with you a very powerful lesson from the wisdom of the Toltecs, which is a perfect way to end this first episode of Lessons From. Give yourself time to listen to these words and let them sink in so they can help you when you need them the most. The greatest justice is to pay for your mistake once. The greatest injustice is to judge yourself and pay for the same mistake countless, endless times. Stop judging others. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging, evaluating, and comparing. Just exist. Be brave, be bold, make choices, wisely support others, stand up for them, help them, be the example that can spark change, even starting with very little. With your own behavior, express it through your actions, and watch Mufasa if you haven't. Watch The Lion King, no matter how old you are. Allow yourself to immerse in these worlds, in these stories, because we are not much different from them. Each one of us is a story that will be told sooner or later, and whether we learn the lessons from it depends entirely on us. Until next time.